that other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion. Welcome back to the Immigration Answers Show. My name is Jim Hacking. This is episode number 812 of the Immigration Answers Show. This is Wednesday, April 16th, 2025, and it is noon Central, not 3 p.m. Central, but all is well in the hood. How's everybody doing? I'll be here for the next hour trying to answer your immigration law-related questions. Looks like some people are confused. Anybody can ask a question here, and you don't have to pay to ask a question here. Just have to get in the waiting room first. And the best way to do that is to text the word show to 314-470-3300. The waiting room is already full, and it's full right now. But if you want to get in to ask me a question, just text the word show to 314-470-3300. We'll send you a text before the show goes live, and off we go. Let's say hi to Rick. Hello, Rick. Rick, you're on mute. We're going to go to Rick, then Guy, then Canuck, then Lagos. Rick is out of here. I love these people that get on really early and then they're not ready when it's time. Guy, are you there? Maho's here. Hello, Maho. All right, so we're going to kick Guy out and we'll go to Canuck. Hello.
Hi there, Jim. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Well, probably like most people here, a bit anxious.
Sure.
So anyway, I'm a Canadian in the U.S. Working on TN status. My employer has an approved I-140, and right now we're just waiting for the dates for filing in the visa bulletin to move past my priority date to file adjustment of status, which we're hoping will be in October, but we'll see. So my question is, just looking through the form I-140, I-485, the section on, criminal arrests and whatnot. I have 2 traffic tickets in my past. No arrests. The most, or the more recent one, I guess, was 10 years ago. It was running a red light citation. I paid the fine. The matter is disposed. The other one was over 25 years ago. It occurred, when I was still living in Canada. Long before I ever moved to the US. I received a speeding ticket in New York State. Nothing major. I think it was 15 miles per hour over the limit. But I'm not sure that this matter was ever resolved. They had sent me a notice to appear in whatever court on such and such a date. But obviously, wasn't feasible for me to travel back. When I got the ticket, I was just a visitor. So there was some back and forth, and I know I sent them at least one letter explaining my situation. That I was a student. I didn't have the resources to travel to the court to make that court date. And I recall they had sent me a letter saying something to the effect of, we're willing to offer you a deal to take 2 demerit points off of your driver's license instead of 4, which I found kind of confusing because at the time, I don't think my home province had a reciprocity agreement with New York State. I could be wrong, but anyway, at some point they stopped communicating with me. So there's no notice of conviction or that your case was dismissed or anything like that. So I don't know what happened to this ticket. So I was wondering if this is something that could affect the approval of my case.
So this is a ticket that occurred in Canada or in the United States?
It was in New York State.
Okay. And so when you said you weren't able to go back, it wasn't feasible because of the student issue. Where were you a student?
In Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd never lived in the U.S. I was just visiting at that point.
Okay, so you got a ticket while visiting, and then you
Yes.
think you never resolved it. Yes, I think this could be a problem. You're going to have to hire a criminal attorney or a traffic attorney to track this down and figure out what the heck happened. And if you never resolved it, you're going to need to resolve it.
Okay. And, how would something like this be resolved?
Well, you got to dig it up first. You got the hardest part is going to be finding the actual citation. Do you have any paperwork related to it?
Yeah, I have the citation.
Okay, so thank you. So then you're just going to need to. I would find a traffic lawyer in New York who, in that city, and then have them dig it up and then figure out what's it gonna take for me to pay this and make it right. I'm sure it's not like a $30,000 bill or something, but there might be a warrant out for you. That's what we're worried about.
Right. And then if there is, how would I resolve this over 25 years later?
Then that attorney would enter their appearance and they would say, "Hey, Judge, Mr. Kuck is now here. He feels bad about not resolving this issue from 25 years ago. He's ready to make this all right." And the judge and the prosecutor will say, "Holy shit, I can't believe this guy's coming back to us with a ticket from the year 2000, but we'll just charge him $3,000 and off we go."
Okay.
And I'm just pulling $3,000 out of my butt.
Right.
Probably a lot less.
Yeah. Yeah. The strange thing is they never offered, in the initial, I guess, correspondence, they never offered for me to pay some sort of fine, which obviously I would have done if they had, made that offer. But
usually prosecutors don't. I mean, even in 2000, prosecutors don't feel much like negotiating with people who are supposed to be in court on a date certain, who are just sending us letters from somewhere else. They're like, "F this! It's too much work for me to help you solve your problem. You should have hired a traffic attorney then to handle it for you."
Right. Okay.
So you can't expect the prosecutors to do too much.
Okay. And then, what if I hire an attorney and they can't find any records of it?
Well, again, this is why you want to find the best traffic attorney in that city, because I would think that most judges would if they understand the situation, would allow you to at least go through the motions of making this right.
Okay.
They're always happy to get some more money out of people.
Of course. Okay. Okay. So, suppose I go ahead and, I resolve this, and then I file my I-485, and then, along with it, request for employment authorization and advanced parole. Approval of those two things doesn't necessarily invalidate my TN status, does it?
No.
Okay.
But the bigger issue, the thing I'm wondering about is, when is your next TN due?
2 years.
Okay, so you just got it renewed.
In 2024, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Okay, so I guess, what I'm wondering is, the denial of if the I-485 was to be denied, that, I still have the underlying TN status.
Well, but the problem is a TN visa is a non-immigrant visa, and you've demonstrated immigrant intent by filing the 485, if not just the I-140.
Right. Okay, so then I wouldn't fall back on the TN status then.
Well, you would, but the question is, what happens the next time you try to renew?
Right. I wouldn't be able to, right? Okay.
Because you've demonstrated immigrant intent. Okay.
So if I can't get this traffic thing resolved, would it be advisable not even to submit for adjustment of status?
No. I mean, I would still. I mean, there's other things you can do. You can hit up the New York Department of Revenue, or this should be findable. But even if you
Okay.
can't, I would still go ahead and apply.
Okay.
You're just gonna have to
Okay.
document all of your efforts to try to take care of it.
Right. Okay. Got it.
Good luck.
Okay. Thanks, Jim.
Okay, bye. Lagos, hello. I got Lagos, then I'm going to Grateful, then Liz. Lagos, you're on mute. We can't hear you. All right, Lagos is out of here. Everyone's taking a nap after getting in the waiting room. They all fight and elbow their way into the waiting room, and then they're not ready. Grateful, hello.
Hello, Mr. Jim. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for all you're doing for the community.
Sure.
I have a question for my friend Omar. So Omar came to the U.S. on a student visa in 2022. He's still in status, and last month he married a U.S. citizen after they had known each other for 8 months. They decided to get married quickly due to religious restrictions, and now they're trying to gather evidence for their marriage. And his questions are, Omar and his wife are living with his family, and they don't have a joint lease. So, however, they plan on opening a joint bank account, get insurance, health insurance, and have letters of affidavit from both families. So, will those be sufficient evidences?
Omar is the immigrant or Omar is the resident?
Omar is the immigrant.
And they're living with Omar's family?
Yes.
What's Omar's family status?
They're citizens.
So there's a family of citizens that have a kid from overseas who's here on an F1.
Yes.
How long has how long has Omar been on an F1?
Since 2022 January.
So he enters 2022. The person that he married, did he know them before 2022?
No.
Omar met this person in the United States.
Yes.
Okay. And now Omar and Mrs. Omar live in the basement of Omar's house or something like that.
That's correct.
Okay. And is Omar still going to school?
Yes.
Is Omar going to graduate?
Yes.
He's going to stay in school and keep doing what he came for on his F1.
Correct.
That's good. And then what about the affidavit of support? Who's going to be the sponsor and the co-sponsor? Who does she make enough money to be the sponsor?
Yeah, Omar's wife is not earning enough. But Omar's sister is willing to be a co-sponsor.
And what's the long-term plan for Omar and Mrs. Omar to move outside of mom and dad's house?
I mean, eventually, as long as because Omar they're not making enough money right now. But as soon as he got his work permit and stuff and started working, yeah.
Is the U.S. citizen of the same nationality background as Omar?
No.
How did they meet?
They met online from a Muslim app.
After Omar was here.
Yes.
And tell me about the wedding.
So the wife is from another state, so Umar and his family went there, and then they had a religious marriage, and then the wife moved down here, and then they had a civil marriage.
So safe to say they did it very Islamically.
Yes.
Like they didn't have a long history together before they got married. It was not arranged, but sort of not
Yeah,
Americanized.
yeah, they actually had some history because Omar went there to see um his wife and the wife's family, and then the wife also came down here before the marriage.
Okay.
Just to make sure she's comfortable with the environment and everything.
Yeah. And is the wife in school too, or what's she doing?
Yeah, the wife is also in school but just graduated.
Okay. And how old are these two?
So the wife is 22 and Omar is 27.
Okay. And everybody's Muslim?
Huh?
Everybody's Muslim?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the lease is always one piece of the puzzle. If you have lots of other evidence of them spending time together, being with other people. I mean, affidavits from family members aren't very compelling, but driver's licenses at the address, mail coming to that address, using a joint bank account regularly, putting their limited money into the bank account and using it to pay bills. I think it's just one piece of the puzzle. It's not great, but it's okay.
Okay.
All right.
So do you think Omar needs a lawyer for this case?
I would say so. I think there's going to be some trouble as far as I think they're going to wonder if the family set this whole thing up so that their lone remaining son from the old country can be in the United States like everybody else.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Jim.
Thanks, brother. Have a good day.
You too.
All right. All right. We got questions coming to us from TikTok. We're going to do that after we talk to Liz. Then we'll do our TikTok questions. Then we're going to go to Allie, Samar, and Khaled. Hello, Liz.
Hello, Jim. Thank you for taking my call.
Of course.
I'm a U.S. citizen married to a Canadian citizen for over 7 years now. We got married in Canada and live here. I'm also a Canadian citizen now. Last year, we decided to move to the States to be close to my family.
Okay.
So we filed in May last year the I-130 and the I-130A. My question is our application paused as well? And while we wait, I feel after watching one of your shows that I didn't add enough pictures. So I've been adding more pictures to the documents. Does that help?
Why is the case paused? What are you talking about?
Well, I've been hearing that a lot of the applications are paused now. So does that apply to us? No? Okay. Another question.
Just real quick, the receipt date was
May 5th last year.
So you'll probably get a decision at the end of the summer, like August.
Okay. Okay.
from
And
USCIS.
okay. Well, the website was saying 3 months before Trump became president, and then after he became president, it said nothing, like really long wait. And then now I saw
that shit was never true. There, 80% of the
Yeah.
cases, 80% of the cases take 16 months. 20% of the cases take 3 or 4 months.
Right. That's what I've been hearing. So I wasn't really going by that anyways, but yeah. My other question is about 2 years ago, before we even thought about moving to the States, on our way back home, we lived by the border. My husband got a speeding ticket and we did pay it. And also another incident, we forgot our NEXUS card while in the NEXUS lane and they pulled us into, they wanted us to go in to get that resolved. So
Yeah.
are those 2 incidents that we needed to put in those applications or that we need to put in any application further on?
When you get to the DS 260 stage, you'll have to say like
Okay.
the ticket is a citation and the secondary inspection is interaction with law enforcement or detention. So I would list both those. Yep.
Okay. Okay. My other question is we want to go visit my dad in Washington in a couple of weeks. My husband, he was born in Dubai. He's not Arab descent, but he was born there from immigrant parents and came to Canada when he was 14. Do you think that will have a problem?
You could, because they might think he's coming to jump the line. They might think that your evil plan is to come to the United States and then file a 485 to keep him here and not wait anymore for the consulate BS, which takes
Okay. So do they know that at the border that we've applied for the I-130? Okay.
They do know it, and if they don't know it, they can ask. And obviously the most important thing is to be honest.
For sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for answering our question.
Have a great day, Liz.
You too. Bye.
All right. Let's go over to TikTok. Find my friend Hina. There she is. TikTok Tuesday, Hina calls it. I think that's a good name for it. TikTok Tuesday. Maybe we should have TikTok only on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Yusuf. Hey, Jim, what's your take on Mohsen Madawi, who was detained yesterday at his citizenship interview? Sad to say, Yusuf, I've been so busy I haven't had time to check the news. I saw the headline. That's all I really know. Let's take a look. Let's see what we can find. Mohsen. All right. Oh, that's funny. News. Let me try this. Detained N400 interview. Colombia student detained while attending naturalization interview. Mohsen Madawi, who was born and raised in a refugee camp in the West Bank and is a lawful permanent resident, was taken into custody in Vermont, his lawyer said. Immigration authorities detained another Columbia University student in direct retaliation for his participation in protests against the Israel-Gaza war, his lawyer said. Mohsen was born in a refugee camp and as a permanent resident was taken into custody during his naturalization interview, the lawyer Luna Droby said in a filing. Madawi was detained amid a wide and unprecedented crackdown on foreign students. Video posted by a Vermont lawmaker shows 3 officers, 2 of whom were masked, escorting Madawi out in handcuffs. There they are. I'm really pissed off about these ICE officers wearing masks. I think we should pass a law prohibiting that. Andrew Delaney, another one of his attorneys, said he's being held in Vermont. There's also a petition. A federal judge temporarily blocked his removal Monday. Bernie Sanders and the congresswoman from Vermont, Becca Balint, called the detention immoral, inhumane, and illegal. Mr. Madawi, a legal resident of the United States, must be afforded due process under the law and immediately released from detention. ICE is, of course, refusing comment, as did the cowards at Columbia University. I think that it's mind-boggling to me that green card holders apparently no longer have First Amendment rights. I think it's absolutely reprehensible what they're doing. And the idea that anybody who thinks that they're going to stop with immigrants with all this stuff they're doing, Trump says yesterday that he wants the El Salvador president to start building some more jails to house the native born in America. If anybody thinks this shit's going to stop with immigrants, they're nuts. They're nuts. Allie is here. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, good afternoon. So, okay, I'm going to start with, I'm from Ecuador. I had my first J1 program in 2022. Then I was here till 2023. I returned. I was a year there. During that time in 2022, even before coming here for the first time to the US, I met who's now my spouse. And in the second program that I started in July in this last 2024, and now I'm about to finish it. I got married in January, and I'm subjected to the 2-year rule resident, and I applied already for my waiver for the no objection letter. And I'm just wondering what's going to happen like with my status while I wait for my waiver to be approved, because my visa is going to expire in April, like at the end of this month. But I know that that process of the waiver, it's going to take longer than 2 months. So I'm wondering like what's going to happen with that time. And after I get the waiver approved, I can start applying for my green card process. So I'm wondering what's going to be my status or what can I do, because it's just really hard right now with everything, even though I'm applying for the waiver. Yeah.
How did you come up with this plan?
Well, I've been reading a lot.
This was a bad plan from the get-go.
Okay.
Is your J1 212E rule, is that from the first J1 or the second one or both?
Both.
Okay. And you're saying you already knew someone in the United States that's now your spouse even before you filed for your J1.
Yeah, but I met him in Ecuador, not
Right,
in
but
the US.
why would you come on a J and subject yourself to Rule 212E if you had already met him and thought you might be together?
Because at that time we were not dating, we just met. And then I was in college and I had to do like mandatory study abroad program. So that's what I did. And then when I came, we started like to, like just meet each other. And then after that, we got into a relationship. But then I came here and my plan was not to get married, but it just happened.
How long ago did you ask Ecuador for a no objection letter? Is that part done?
Yeah, of course. It was like 2 weeks ago. I just submitted everything, but I'm just wondering because my visa is about to expire in this month.
So, which is why this was a bad plan. So you have to leave. You can't stay just because you have a visa waiver, a 212E waiver pending. That doesn't give you the right to stay.
Because that's how like many people that I'm like in a group chat from Ecuador and other countries too, like they did the same thing. Like they had the waiver, and when it was approved, so that like deletes the 2-year non-rule resident. So
But sister, there's a bunch of people who apply for a 212 waiver and don't get it.
Uh-huh.
And also, I would imagine a lot of the people that you've read about on the internet did that before Trump came to town. So what you're proposing to me that you hang out here after the expiration of your J1, waiting and hoping for your waiver to come in. That waiver could take a year.
Yes. So that's
what
what
do
I
you
was
think?
worried about. Like, I don't know what's the best.
You should be worried about it. This was a dumb plan.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. This was a dumb plan from the get-go.
Okay, so what would be the best thing to do?
Well, most likely you have to leave, or you could apply to change to a B1, B2. But if you then later on apply for a green card, they're going to give you all kinds of shit because this all seems like someone who never really came to be on a J1. Instead, they came to be with their boyfriend who they met in Ecuador before they ever got a J.
Mm-hmm.
So backwards and forwards, you've created much bigger messes for yourself than you needed to, because you didn't want to wait to meet him again, because you didn't want to come on a visit, because you read on the internet that other people had it come on a J1. Like, reading on the internet and hearing what other people do, that doesn't get you very far, and it can lead to you getting into big messes. And that's especially true when we have Donald Trump running immigration.
Yes, I just didn't know this was gonna happen, because when
That's
I
why
applied for my second program,
but you signed up for it twice. You did it twice.
For the J1, yes, because I just graduated and then I got an offer from the same college that I was in just to teach Spanish here. So I was like, why would I not take it? And then when I came here, it suddenly just happened. I didn't know I was gonna get proposed. I didn't know I was gonna get married.
Mm-hmm. I get it. I get it. But you've built an immigration record that's sort of tricky now, and you have I mean, do you think that there's any chance that your waiver gets approved before your visa runs out?
I actually don't know, because mainly the time is going to be 4 months or 6 months.
Or 12.
For it to get approved. Yes.
So what was your plan before calling me? Were you going to leave when your visa was up, or were you just going to hang out here?
I'm actually was gonna ask you what's the best thing to do, because I didn't know. Because the best thing I could do, it was just sign up for the waiver, because I mean that's what I read that I had to do. If I'm subjected to the 2-year rule, I have to apply for the waiver. But some programs, they don't even allow you to apply for the waiver till you finish the program, because you have to have a letter of completion. And that's when I was, I got a lot of help here, trying to ask if I can get this letter even before that. Because if I had to go back, then there was no purpose of filing for the waiver either, because I had to go either or. So that's why I thought that the waiver was the best option, because the website of USCIS says that I had to apply for the waiver. So that's what I did.
Good luck, Allie.
Okay. Do you think besides that, there's something else I can do?
No, I think you've made a big mess of things for no reason.
So the best thing should be just to go back?
I believe so. I think here's the problem. If you file for a change of B1, B2, then at some future date, if you get your waiver and you're sitting across from an immigration officer, they're going to say, when did you meet your husband? And you're going to say some date before you got your first J1. And then they're going to say, okay, well, why didn't you leave after your second J1 like you're supposed to? Instead, you filed for a change of status to a B1 just to hang out here until your waiver got approved. That's going to piss them off, and they're going to say, we believe you made a misrepresentation when you first came on your J1. You told us that you were coming to teach Spanish, and you told us that you did not have immigrant intent. But in fact, you came to meet the man who you married and who's now trying to sponsor you for a green card. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it doesn't look good. Well, I think not leaving now and filing for an extension or change of status on a 539 to a B1, B2 just makes it look even shadier than it seems right now.
Okay. So we'll just try to make some other plans.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I am often surprised the decisions that people make based on things they read on the internet, talking to other people. I was a little hard on her, and I feel bad for that. But man, she's made it much more complicated than it needed to be. Sorry, I forgot about TikTok because I got sidetracked by the guy getting arrested at his naturalization interview. Arturo, I have an interview on May 8th. That's my daughter's birthday. For the I-130 in New York. I have a deportation order. My wife wants to go by herself. Most likely they won't approve the I-130 if they know you're around. I understand the idea, but we've had this situation come up twice now since Trump came in office, and they've insisted that the beneficiary come in and be interviewed, and that has happened without the person being taken into custody. But obviously they are taking people into custody. Aurora, my husband is a resident. Got a domestic violence that was dismissed. Can he apply for citizenship? Depends when it was. Depends what a dismissal it was, whether it was a straight dismissal. Lots of interesting questions there, Aurora. Who was the domestic violence against? Lots of questions. Rebecca, if I'm visiting the U.S. and I'm with someone out of status who gets stopped by ICE, can I be in trouble? I don't think so, but I don't think that's a good idea. Anybody's fair game when you're just here on a visit visa. Nadira, I have an appointment for my citizenship, but I had school bus tickets that I paid. Will it be a problem? Fine, paid via credit card. I would imagine that means you're a school bus driver. I would say generally that's not going to keep you from getting your citizenship, but if it's a ton of them or something, or recklessness, I think maybe. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. For I-751, any problem, even if the charges were dropped, no diversion program, no fine, just nollie. You don't even say what the crime is, but a nollie is pretty good, and it's as if it didn't happen, but they can still look at the arrest records. If I have the 40 Social Security credit hours and my daughter has no income, do I still need a sponsor to do adjustment of status? If I have the 40 credits and my daughter has no income, no, you shouldn't. You're just going to have to prove up the 40 quarters. Mom came in 02, but their I-94 shows an entry of 01. How can we prove legal entry if no accurate I-94? You got to do a CBP. You have to do a CBP FOIA and see what you can find out. Can I prove legal entry if I lost the original passport and only have an old copy of stamp no I-94? It's tricky, but possible. It's 3 years and I'm waiting for my N400 interview. What to do? You should sue. The person who wrote in Arabic asking me that. Isabel Montiel, 876. Green card holder applies for U.S. citizenship in 3 years. Anything we should be careful of? Should I wait? It depends if the marriage is solid. If the marriage is solid, go for it. If it's not, or if there's been criminal stuff, I would wait. All right, let's go to Samar.
Hello. Thank you, Jim, for doing this. Like, I am one of the student who's facing this visa revocations and service termination issues.
Yep.
So right now in a very, very bad situation. I can tell you like what happened with me in 2023 December. I was arrested for shoplifting. In
Yep.
January 2024, I got a lawyer. I got discharged. The conviction says leave stricken off, leave reinitiate. No fines, no conviction, no. I was straight discharged, and now got a termination of service. If I apply for if I sue them in a federal court in a mass action, and if for an instance the case get denied, can I file an individual action as well without any disadvantage?
I wouldn't say that. No, I wouldn't say that. There'd be an argument that if you're in the big class action and that case gets dismissed, there's an argument called res judicata that your rights have already been adjudicated by the court.
Okay, so what make more sense, like to apply for a class action or an individual action?
Well, as you know, we're doing individual actions and there's other attorneys doing class actions. I think people with an individual action are going to get relief faster. And I think they're going to have personalized attention paid to their case, which I don't think happens when there's 700 plaintiffs.
Okay, thank you. And right now I'm doing a restatement. My college is not helping me at all. Like they just give an I-20. Can I do it by myself, restatement, or
Yeah.
need a lawyer?
No, I think most people do reinstatement on their own.
Do I need to support any document like disposition letter? I have good GPA, decent GPA, all those things. The
Definitely.
document.
Definitely.
Okay. Is there a way I can change my status from to B1, V2, like because right now I don't want to be out of status for a long time.
I don't think you can do both.
Okay. And just one more question, like I have an expungement. I have filed for an expungement, and that is on April 24th, the court date. So should I go with that or should I ignore that?
I would leave that alone. I would dismiss that request for expungement.
I will dismiss that. So I don't want to and I don't want to do that anymore.
It doesn't do you any good with immigration if that's what you're asking me. It does you no good. And I think just sealing up the records now while you're trying to get this sorted is not going to work.
Okay, so sir, and as my case is pending, so if I walk around alone, do I have any problem with the ICE, or can I travel domestically by flights?
I wouldn't go anywhere because you could be taken into the custody and put into removal.
Got it, got it. And last thing, sir, like as a student, this is a do or die situation for us. I'm gonna go with you. How much does it cost as a student? Like it's
Yeah.
so that
It's $4,500 plus the $405 filing fee, so it's $4,905.
okay, okay, okay. So I'm gonna contact one of your number over there and let them know that I got it from the live show.
Thanks, Sumar.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah.
Bye, buddy. All right. That was Sumar. Well, let's go to Khaled. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon, Jim.
It sounds like you're talking with a towel over your phone.
Just a minute. I'm in the
I'll come back, Khaled. Let's go to Haley. Hi, Haley.
Hey there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great. How you doing?
All right. I'm doing okay. How are you?
Great.
Awesome. Here's my question, and thank you so much for being here today. I have been in the country since 2009 as a legal resident, and I know for a fact that my mother became a citizen prior to my 18th birthday. Okay. The only thing is that we are no longer in contact, so I have no way to find out exactly from her when she became a citizen. So I guess how would I go about obtaining proof that if I'm even a citizen?
So this is tricky because if you can't find out from your mom, you probably can't find out because USCIS won't tell you because you're not her, right?
Right.
And you're in a tricky spot because if you file an N-400, and your mom naturalized before you turned 18, then your N-400 would get denied. Now that would be a way to find out.
Well, I have submitted the N-400, and this is why it made me question things because everybody else, submitting those forms, the processing times have been rather quickly, but I've been waiting since like November. And the wait time said 3 weeks, and now it's gone back to like 6 months.
No, it's like 6 months. So let's back up. I want to hear your whole immigration history.
Yeah,
So when did you come to the United States?
2009.
On an immigrant visa petition?
No, permanent resident card.
Right. That's what I meant.
Yep.
So who sponsored you? Who sponsored you? Your mom?
So yeah, I know she was married. She got married to a U.S. citizen.
So you're back home. Mom's overseas. Mom comes. You're overseas. Mom comes here, marries a U.S. citizen, and then either the spouse or your mom file for you, and you come and you have
Right.
a card when you get here.
Right.
Okay. How old were you when you came?
I was 13.
Okay. And you think that sometime in the next 5 years, mom became a citizen?
And she became a citizen while I was still in high school. So yes. So before I turned 18. Yep.
And so,
But
okay.
go ahead.
So I think what you've done so far, though, is sort of inconsistent with what your position is because you shouldn't have filed an N-400 if you are already a U.S. citizen.
But that's the thing, though. I have no way to prove that I am, in fact, a citizen.
Right. But we know two things. We know you were 13 when you came in 2009.
Yes.
And what, 13-year-olds are usually what, in 8th grade?
Yes.
And so sometime in the next 4 years, i.e. before you turned 17, or certainly before you turned 18, mom became a citizen. We know those two things.
Yes.
We don't know when. Do we know where?
Here in Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay. And do we know like around when? Like, was it when you were a senior, a junior, a freshman?
No idea.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Remember?
I don't remember.
Do you have siblings or aunts or anyone that might know?
Yes, I have a sister, and also she's pretty much says the same thing, that it was while we were still in high school.
sometime around then. Okay. Well, I think
I have lost you.
Oh, can you hear me now? Haley? Can you hear me? Haley, you there?
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me? Haley, can you hear me? Haley? All right, well, I'll just answer the questions and then come back, hopefully. So Haley, if you have applied for an N400, but you're already a citizen, that case must be denied. You should have filed an N600, right? So that's a problem. And so if you go through that whole process, that ultimately is going to lead to a denial. Now, they may, in that denial, tell you when your mom naturalized, but you might have to wait for the N400 to be denied to then know that you can safely file an N600. So one thing you could do is file a FOIA request for your file and see if there's anything attached to your mom on there. And then I'd also just make a pitch to mom, trying to see, even if you're estranged from her, see if she can help you out. Let's go back to Khaled. Khaled, you there?
Yes, good afternoon, Jim. I have got two questions. My son is now turned 14 in December 2024. He already have got green card. So we have seen the Alien Registration Act and an executive order in this regard.
Green card holders don't have to register.
Don't have to, because at that time he was 11, so they didn't took his fingerprints. So it's not necessary that we go now and get his fingerprints, or
Right.
he already has got a document, so he's registered.
He has a green card. He is registered.
So we don't have to go. Okay. And the second question is, my son is going to university in Urbana-Champaign. So do we have to inform the USCIS about the change of address, or my address will suffice?
I would take the position that his official address is your home address and that his school address is his school address.
So we have to inform the school address also?
I would say no. But if it
No.
makes you feel better, go ahead.
Okay. So just our address is enough.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jim. Thank you very much.
Hi, Khaled. See you, buddy. Let's go to hello. Hello.
Hi, Jim.
How are you?
Thank you. I have a quick question. I was on asylum, and I came here on 2022, and I've been in asylum pending for the past 3 years.
Okay.
And now I got married and I filed I-485, and I want 30 this year.
Married to a U.S. citizen?
U.S. citizen, yeah.
Okay.
And on the I-485, there was a mistake. One of it is my mother name is, he put her first name on the last name and something like that. And also I came on F1 and he said the lawyer put no on those things on the lists of the questions. Have you ever violated the visa and things like that? So I don't know how to make it.
So you need to tell your lawyer to correct the mistakes. What are you paying the lawyer for? They should correct their mistakes.
Oh, okay. I mean,
tell the lawyer that you want them to notify USCIS in writing of what the correct answers are.
Okay. And my another question is the one, me and my wife, we live together, but she helped her mom pay mortgage, and her card is using, her mom is single mom, and she helped her out. And that's shown on our bank statement. Does that affect our process, or?
What does that mean, shows on your bank statement? The payments that she's making on her mom's case?
Yeah.
So do you guys have a joint bank account?
Yeah, that's where the payment is going from.
And do you both put your money in the joint bank account?
Yeah.
And does your wife stay with you?
Yeah.
And do you have a lease?
We got a lease, yeah.
So, I mean, I would say that that's something that might come up at the interview. But I actually think that if you and your wife are both putting your money into an account, and from that account you're paying your rent and her mom's mortgage, I think that's actually good marital evidence, not bad.
Oh, okay. Because she was paying like for the past couple of years for her mom.
It's a little weird, but I think it's something that can be explained.
Okay.
The fact is your money's going into the same account she's using. So to me, that says that you trust your wife to pay your bills correctly. I mean, they might say, well, maybe she just lives with her mom and this lease is just fake. That's the concern.
No, I mean, we have everything like, I don't know.
I'm not worried about
insurance, things like that.
All right, good luck.
All right, thank you.
See ya. Let's go back to TikTok. Paul says, my kids in the Philippines are documentarily qualified at National Visa Center since September. How long before the interview? Probably about a year and a half. From DQ. Bilal, my dad's green card has been pending for 600 days. Is this normal as a parent? So that's almost a year and a half. Bilal, I would say, number one, if your name is Bilal, he's probably Muslim. So there could be carp. I would also say, was he in status, out of status? I would also ask, is it a busy office? Lots of different reasons why. Lily, African passport, doctor in the UK, planning to move to the US with fiance visa. Is it high risk? No. I just don't like fiance visas because they can be deemed to have expired. Khan Khalil, 13. USCIS refused my expedite request. My spouse passed away. I'm very sorry, Khan, to hear that. What should I do next? If there was an I-130 pending, you would want to convert that to an I-360. Macy Reeves, 390. I have a marriage interview tomorrow. Any tips? Yeah, check out our YouTube channel. We've got tons of mock videos, mock interviews. I think we've got a new one coming or came yesterday. So there is a new mock interview coming, but we have a couple on there. I would watch those and be prepared. The Northwestern guy, are divorce waivers any more difficult to get approved? Do they require an interview? I would say most are going to have an interview under Trump. And I would say they're still approvable. No, we're still getting those approved. I think you probably need a lot of evidence and you probably need a lawyer's help. Aisha 025, I have filed for removal of conditions. Should I apply for citizenship at the 2 years, 9 months mark? Yes, you should. It'll get the removal of conditions case moving as well. All right. Ola is here. Hello, Ola. Ola, you're on mute.
Hello, Jim. Thank you for picking my call and giving me the opportunity to speak with you.
Sure.
Yeah. I have two questions. The first one is this. I submitted the asylum application since 2019, got married to a green card in 2018, but my wife became a U.S. citizen in last year, December. Now I put in I-485 application and I want that application through a lawyer. Mm-hmm. But currently, since January, I'm out of job. That's my problem.
January or what? Or what?
Since January this year, I'm out of job. Yes, lost my job.
Okay.
So my work authorization will expire in July 31st, 2025. Mm-hmm. And USCIS is now asking for RFE, which my lawyer said she has already submitted last week. But my fear is this: my work authorization will be expired in 3 months' time. Did I need to renew the work authorization on the asylum application, or I can't?
Yeah, you're talking about your EAD off the green card application, or some other EAD that you had?
What is it?
You're saying you're talking about the work authorization that you got from your green card application, or some other work authorization that you had?
Some other. I got it from my asylum application.
Okay.
So my green card application is still pending.
So when you applied for your green card, did you also apply for an EAD off of that?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would say the answer to your question is yes. If you can renew, if your asylum case is still pending, I don't see why you wouldn't go ahead and apply to renew your EAD. You want to keep all your options open.
Good. Okay. Thank
Good luck,
you.
See you, buddy. Yeah. Kojo says, it's been 2 months since my marriage interview with my spouse. No update yet. Is it normal? I don't know. Did they approve the I-130 at least? Molita says, why is the green card application paused, and is it for all? As of right now, the green card applications that are being paused, which is total bullshit, are the ones where people enter the United States on parole from Ukraine, Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, or Venezuela, and anybody who's applying for a green card based on a prior grant of refugee status or asylum status. All the other cases are allegedly still being processed. Moriah is here. Hello.
Hello, yes. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I want to ask about my case. So I applied for my husband at I-130. The receipt date is July 7th, 2023. And I was wondering how long the whole process will take.
This is an overseas case or a case here?
No, he's here on withholding of removal since 2006.
Okay, so he has a deportation order. Yes. When you have withholding of removal, what that means is the judge has ordered you deported, but because it's not safe for you to go back to that country, we're going to let you stay here, not get any real status, but you're going to be able to work here and you're going to be able to stay without getting deported. What country is he from?
Indonesia.
Okay. So I assume that when you filed only an I-130 petition. Is that right?
So far, yes.
You did not file for the green card.
No, our lawyer said that we have to go through the court to open and close his.
That's all true. So when did you file the I-130?
The receipt date is July 7th, 2023.
And USCIS has not approved the I-130?
Correct. It's still processing.
No interview?
No.
Is there an age gap?
Yes, we have 26 years.
Ooh. Okay. All right. So,
would that be a reason that it's taking longer?
No, it's probably because of the removal order, but and they're just probably just waiting to see if your marriage falls apart. Why did he get put in removal in the first place? Do you know?
He came on a tourist visa and then tried to apply for asylum, but they didn't approve the asylum. They gave him the withholding of removal. Okay.
Well, I would say I would agree with you that an I-130 that's been taking this long is one that we would sue over. The problem is there's this 26-year age gap. So, I mean, do you guys have a ton of evidence?
Yes, we have a ton of evidence. Everything is joint. We have a mortgage and we have a child.
Okay, good. How long have you been married now?
Since November 2001.
November of 2001?
Yes.
2001.
Sorry, 21. Sorry.
I was going to say, because you said there's a 24-year age gap.
No.
Okay, so 2021, you got married. Okay. Have you ever sponsored anyone for an immigration benefit before?
No.
Has he ever been married to anyone inside the United States before?
Yes, but they did not go through any immigration paperwork at all.
Because?
They shortly separated after marriage.
How long ago?
They got divorced in, they got married in 2012 and got a divorce in 2018, but they separated 6 months after they were married.
Sloppy.
Yes.
Okay. If you were going to have a green card interview, what city would it be in?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. So we could file a lawsuit in the Northern District of Georgia and get you an interview sometime probably in the next month or two. If you want that I-130 to be adjudicated, which you have to do in order to do everything else, we're down for that if that's what you want to hire us to do. But let's walk it through. If the I-130 gets approved, then your lawyer is going to take that to the immigration court. And my understanding is that right now the Trumpistas are not agreeing to reopen prior removal orders like that. Like, you can certainly try it, but I just don't know if it might make sense to just keep things the way they are.
So can he file I-485 without that
Nope.
closure?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, he can't.
And then the I-130 won't give him any status by
Right.
itself.
So that's the other thing. If you're worried that they're going to take away his withholding and deport him, because they're going to start doing that here pretty soon, I think, to some people, which is why I asked what country. I think that would be the argument for suing and trying to get the I-130 moving. So if you're ready to go and you're tired of waiting and you want a decision and you want us to do that, knowing that your lawyer might not be able to set aside the removal order, and you might just be sort of in the same position just with an approved I-130, which isn't the worst thing. It's nice to have an I-130 if they try to open up removal again. But
Because he's been here since 2001, and he's been working and paying taxes since that. Well, since he got his work permit.
Yeah, but that really doesn't do much, because that he's not earning any credit towards anything, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah. So, because I have the case with a lawyer currently, but would you be able to take over it, or what would that process be?
We could do the lawsuit and then see what happens. After that, we could see what happens. But I mean, next steps are the removal court, and trying to get the deportation order set aside. So I don't necessarily want to take that case on, but I can get you your interview and a decision on your I-130 that I'm fairly confident about.
And the interviews are with the I-130, not for the I-485?
Would be both. I mean, they would just do in this case, it's a standalone I-130. So they would, if they interviewed you, which they probably would, given the age gap, it would just be on the marriage.
Okay. And what's his risk of that removal order under this administration?
I think you know the answer to that.
Well, that's scary.
I mean, put it this way. Let's say we sue them and I get you an interview at the Atlanta field office 7 weeks from now. In theory, they could, if they wanted to get moving on his removal, they could pick him up and take him into
It's because
custody.
he's out of status, technically.
Yeah, he's been ordered deported. They're just, because of their being nice and because of rules we have, they've given him withholding. Now, they shouldn't deport him if he has withholding, but you know what they should do isn't what they're doing, right?
Yeah. And the lawsuit, what is it called? A writ of what?
Mandamus, writ of mandamus. Yeah,
I talked to my lawyer about that, and she said she'll look into it, but it's already been 21 months, so I'm just
like I said, if you're ready, I'm 100%. I mean, we do writs of mandamus all day long. We probably file 7 or 8 a week.
Okay.
So if you need our help, let me know, and I'm happy to have you just stay with your attorney for everything else.
Okay, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for answering my questions today.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. We're going to wrap up the show a little bit early today. I got to get somewhere. I got another meeting. But we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, the 16th. Tomorrow's show will be at 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. Central tomorrow, 3 p.m. Central. We'll see you all guys then. Episode 812 of the Immigration Answer Show will be back in the studio on TikTok. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Love you. Bye. Being silly. I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion. I mean,